Families, which is this phenomenal practical guide and workbook for families. What then led you to wanting to write this book? Were you compelled? Was it research you were doing? Did you find that there was a void? There really wasn't like a handbook out there for caregivers and families of those who are dealing with dementia, Alzheimer's?
You know, absolutely. I started to look more at what we could do for this population, and people would watch me work with people with dementia, and they say, you have this knack for bringing out these amazing responses from people who are lacking in the ability to communicate. You should write down what you're doing. And so as I started to do that, I realized there wasn't any one particular group or person who was working with this population who was looking at this basic need to make connections, to communicate. And I really felt, and I still very strongly believe, communication should be the foundation of our care. No matter what structures we have in order to help our lives and help deal with people who need support in this population, the basis is still we have to connect with them. We have to still know how to reach out to them, facilitate that genuine need to make them feel secure and respond to us so that we can take care of them, so that we can interact with them. So I started writing the book, and I tried to make it very simple and practical, which you have pointed out. The book is on a spiral-bound format, so it lays open for you, so your hands are free to read and talk and look, have a cup of coffee and try to relax and absorb what's in the book. And then it's got tabs that get you to the sections easily so you can read, and then I encourage people to reread sections, because as I ask them to try out the strategies, I want them to start to practice them. So if you try something, you come back and read a little more that's in the book, well, you might understand it a little better and be able to really focus in on what that person needs in using the techniques that you can do with someone who is needing your help in this connection.
What I like about it too is it really is prepared. I mean, you mentioned the spiral, there it is. It really is, it is like a guidebook, a workbook. But what I really like too is the fact that you have it broken down in different chapters, and you have these wonderful photos that are in here as well. But it's a very progressive book, meaning that you follow it step by step with all these incredible routines. I mean, we're talking really more about techniques more than we are tips, right?
Absolutely. I really am very much, absolutely, I really like to emphasize that these are strategies. And what I teach then are the techniques to do the strategies. You see, for me, tips are just little bits of information. While those may be helpful in some fashion, you really need to learn the techniques to do the strategies, because techniques are skills. And these are skills required to have a particular goal. This goal is to make the emotional connection so that you have safety and cooperation with daily caregiving.
Here's an example. You're talking about the strategies, Susan. On page 47 of the book, you have strategy number 3. Watch your language, the do's and don'ts. Use simple, highly familiar words. Keep messages short and sweet. Repeat the information a few times. Use concrete language. Use direct communication once you have the person's attention. Use adult language. Do not talk to the person as if they were a child. I could see people, I've actually been in experiences where I've seen people talk to people in a way where they're talking like as if they are a child or they are immature. Talk to them as an adult. Use positive, reassuring statements, and do not talk about the person as if they were not present in the room, right? Those are all very important skills. Just one of many strategies you've come up with that are effective.
That happens to be one of my favorite strategies, and I like how it's called watch your language. When I'm giving my workshops and I get to that strategy, I share with people how it is really quite amazing that there's an awful lot of negative thought patterns that we have that we will perpetuate unless we're conscious of how we're saying something it's likely that something will come out negative. Yet if we use this strategy and really watch what we're saying and how we say it, with simplicity, with positive words and phrases, and that also reads in terms of our body language, we will get a much better response because we make that person feel positive. When I have my workshops, people are in communication partner pairs, and they have this activity where they have to go back and forth saying positive and negative statements to one another. And it really opens their eyes to how much it feels to give a negative statement or to receive a negative statement, and then counter that with when you're giving something in a positive way and you receive it in a positive way. Well, the person living with dementia or any kind of communication impairment is going to respond so much more when the atmosphere and the environment is positive.